Yeah. So Dan, I'll try it again. Dan's penalty has been rendered obsolete because he served it in the pit lane, so ignore the graphic on the screen. It is Tice that leads from Fabian in second, Dan is in third, and for some reason every single time we do a restart, Dan is always the one that I get an onboard of. I'm not sure why. Oh well. Anyway, Ian is on soft tyres. I'm not sure why, but we'll see how that goes. You might as well go back into hards then. I mean, like, you've got no other choice if you just do this. Unless it's a safety car, then you might as well just fucking keep going to new softs.
I don't think I have another set of softs though.
Let's watch Fabian now. It says he's 44 seconds behind Tice. That's not true. Yeah, Fabian should have seen that coming there, as Tice was setting up a straight exit, and you could see that from a mile away. But nevertheless, he gets going again, 5 tenths behind him. Tice has no reason to use ERS, and we'll see how this restart goes now. And already Fabian using way too much curb, having to use ERS to nullify his mistake. Don't know why it says that Dan's 8 tenths behind Fabio when he's very clearly not. Oh, it's from the leader, I see. I'll reopen the interval because that seems to be more interesting at the moment. It is Tice that's the fastest lap of the race as well, crucially in this race. So Dan using ERS to try and gain time as Fabio is right behind Tice now, but using more ERS than maybe he should. I think it's better off just waiting for the DRS to be enabled, staying relatively close, and then that will give him the chance he needs to get in this race. Anyway, Fabian right behind. Dan has made a mistake, and Asmi and Ian right behind him. They're side by side going into turn 9 here. Going into the corner, will he go around the outside? No, he just makes a mistake, and he goes down to the inside for the switchback. He goes down the inside of turn 10, and he doesn't make it stick. That was an incredibly brave attempt to remove here. On board with Ian now, as he goes down the straight. Fabian is now close to the race leader as well, Tice, and around the outside he's going to try and go. He makes it stick on Dan. That's massive in this race on the soft tyres. He's going to be way fast on the exit as well, so he's going to go ahead of him now with a 4-tenth gap between the two of them. But Dan is right behind him once again, and just like last race, they're going to have a fantastic battle for the podium positions. Will he go down the inside? Yes, he will. No, he doesn't. He just backs out once again. Dan goes in. It's going to go right behind. Has DRS been enabled yet? I'm not sure. I don't think it has, no. And Ian giving no space to Dan there on the inside, but he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. So down the inside goes Dan.
Sorry, Ian.
It's a late move, and there's contact between the two of them, but that was a fair enough move from Dan there on the inside, as Tice has used all of his ERS to try and get ahead of Fabian. That's actually going to not really help him at all, because he now has less ERS than Fabian in second place, and he will probably be able to gain that time back because he is quite fast. So this is quite a crucial moment. Dan is in third. Ian once again using all of his ERS trying to get past. That's not really worth it. He goes down the inside into turn 9, and Dan gives the space and goes wide. And that was a very strange moment. I don't know why Ian was trying to make a move, as the fastest lap of the race goes to Tice, using ERS a lot this lap. He used around about 75% of his ERS this lap, and already Fabian regaining that time. As around the outside just again for the second lap in a row, Ian gets ahead of Tice and runners on board. Look at the rear camera.
Ian ahead of Tice. Not in a million years, mate.
Did I say that? I meant to say Dan. Anyway, Ian ahead of Dan then, and Dan trying to make a move on the inside, doesn't try that move. Ian goes in deep, and Dan almost sets the back of him there. He was so close to him and going into the braking zone, going through the apex. Dan has DRS though, and this is going to be massive for him. He has more ERS as well by quite a lot, so it should be an easy move for Dan around the outside if he can just about make it.
No.
And he goes in deep, and that's going to cost him time on the exit, but he does seem to just about have the traction.
Ian and me are better than any Mercedes and any Rebel going side by side through Cops or that corner right there.
Facts. And if we go, Fabian's really gaining time this lap. On Tice, he's almost in DRS. Oh, and Ian has spun out again. He goes to the inside, and just like he has done before, he spins out at turn 7, and that corner has been absolutely just
deadly.
Yeah, it has been deadly today. And we're gonna look at this now. Fabian has DRS on Tice. This is massive in the race. He needs to gain as much time as he can. He needs to have a good turn 1. It's pretty good. Yes, it is. So he's going to have a chance now with the DRS to maybe close in a bit on Tice. He needs to. Tice is struggling for ERS, but he will be saving as much as he can in this time while he's in the lead and has still got an advantage. So on the exit, Tice has the advantage in the straight lines, it looks like, and gets a better exit as well. And Fabian does use full traction control, so that's basically the same as Brett in that remark. He's getting good exits, but that is just some corners you just can't get as good of an exit as the cars with less traction control than him. But it is Thijs leading from Fabian in second place. Closing the gap now in the middle sector though, so this is interesting. Obviously Thijs has 1 lap fresher tyres, but because of the safety car that will be somewhat nerfed, if you will, on these last few laps, but it is Fabian right behind Thijs. And this lap once again he's going to gain time and he's saving ERS, so this is actually very good from Fabian. He's driving a very smart race today, using the DRS to keep within touching distance of Thijs. And Thijs runs the exit curve quite a lot, but Fabian didn't quite straighten his car out as well, so both drivers with a compromised exit out of turn 1.
What's the fastest lap?
The fastest lap of the race, we shall now see, is... yeah, 1 minute 6.9. I don't know why I won't show it. There it is. So the fastest laps of this race, it looks like Brett has one. Oh, and Ian spun again at the first corner.
Brett's AI car. Because of Brett's AI car.
Oh, Brett's AI car crashed into him there. That was very strange. I didn't see what happened there. I was looking at the leaders there, looking at the fastest lap attempts. But as of right now, the fastest laps of the race, actually the second fastest lap is Brett's. Obviously, Max was too early in the race to go faster, and he was one of the fastest guys, obviously getting pole position. So he's pretty good. And once again, Ian oversteers. And now look at this. Fabian is really close to the back of the race leader. So the drivers are so far apart this race behind the top 2. So this is the only real battle on the track right now. Down in no man's land and not really gaining any time on anyone in front of him. So we'll see how this goes here. Thijs still gaining ERS as we speak. Fabian though will be using the DRS. And if he can start battling with Thijs, then this will become slightly more interesting. And he does run wide, does Thijs. That will give him an opportunity down this straight for Fabian to maybe make a move here on Thijs. He has the pace, it looks like, with 9 laps to go. Fabian needs to be patient indeed. And he brakes very late going to turns 3, and that does actually close the distance between them. He gets a pretty decent exit, not as good as Thijs, who's always been fantastic on the exit of turn 3 because of that. And Ian is now pitting once again, since his soft tyres have definitely done as much work as they can. And he will be pitting probably for hard tyres. Yes, he does. He's not really got any other choice. The old mediums will be absolutely dead by the end of the race. As Fabian is really close to the back of Thijs still now. Under 4/10 of a second between them in the middle sector. So this battle for lead is really intensifying between the top 2. Watch Fabian now as Thijs and Fabian are really close together. And it gets a good exit as well, going towards turn 9. He'll be really close. He's under 3/10 behind Thijs now in this last part of the lap. It's all down to these last 2 corners. He takes a much tighter line than Thijs today, who drifted out wide, but that did actually give him some good exit speed. And a good exit from Thijs out the final corner means that Fabian did lose a 10th or 2 going out of the corner. But with the DRS, he's going to have a huge advantage now over Thijs, who has now got 50% ERS versus Fabian's 20, so it's pretty close, but I don't think it's close enough. We'll see as this goes. We're right on board with Fabian now. He'll get a huge amount of time on this straight, I'm sure. Dan runs wide at turn 1, but it's the battle for lead that is the centre of attention, it seems, at the moment. And oh, there's contact, and Fabian drives straight into Thijs in turn 3 and half spins him around. That was a very strange incident there. They both get going in the positions they were in before, so Thijs came off better in that. So I don't think that is a penalty, but that was a very stupid move there from Fabian to drive straight into Thijs in the braking zone of turn 3. So a bit clumsy there, being a little bit impatient, braking too late in these corners. But it looked like it didn't really do anything to hinder Thijs' race too much, because they're in the same positions they were in before. If anything, Thijs has pulled away a little bit because of that, so that'll be okay. But that's also given Dan a chance to close him a bit. But look how much slower Thijs is now. He just gained about 3/10 in that corner. Thijs has lost a lot of time. I'm not sure why that was. Did his AI car drive for a second? I'm not sure, but down the inside goes Fabian into turn 9. This is very aggressive. Down the inside he goes. And they're side by side, he pushes him off the track, and there's contact again between the 2 of them. Thijs running back around the outside, they're still side by side going down the main straight, and Thijs has the DRS on the outside line with slightly more ERS than Fabian has, so it's very interesting. Somehow he didn't gain enough time in the straight, so weirdly enough, Fabian actually has more straight line speed naturally due to his setup, so that's very strange. Despite what we've been seeing today, the slipstream hasn't actually been that powerful. I see, so Thijs lifting strategically to try and get the ERS, or sorry, the DRS I should say, as Fabian now going down towards turn 4. Fabian now losing time, and Thijs, I think, I don't know if he used ERS on the exit or just got a much better exit like he usually does there, but Thijs maintains his lead with 7 laps to go in the Austrian Grand Prix round, and Ian now trying to get past Brett's AI car once again. Hopefully this time there won't be any contact between them, and there is contact between the 2 of them. Ian needs to be more patient with this AI car to navigate his way around him, because he just can't seem to do that. He's 42 seconds away from anyone else, as Fabian now, as usual, gaining a lot of time in the middle sector, but it's in the last corner where Thijs really gains the crucial time going into the last part of the lap, so Fabian needs to get a good last 2 corners here. He struggled to get on the power through here versus relative to Tice, so he needs to get on the power early. There we go, that's a good corner. But still, 4/10 behind Tice on the main straight. We'll see, he's still gaining ERS though as we speak, using the DRS just to be patient. But Tice is much better at saving ERS than Fabian is so far today. I'm not sure why that is. If anything, it should be Fabian that would be gaining more ERS just because he has the slipstream to kind of alleviate the drag that there would be and also give him more of a chance to save ERS. He hasn't been deploying at all, but just doesn't have any ERS at all, so I'm not sure what's happening there with him, but he has gained a lot of ERS this lap actually on Tice as he gets a good exit as usual out turn 3, which is actually crucial in this race. If he can get a better exit than Fabian every single lap, no matter what Fabian throws at him, he will have a good advantage going down on the back straight. So Tice, as usual, driving a very smart strategic race today, as actually during this battle Dan has actually gained 0.2 of a second this lap already on these guys in front of him, keeping a constant gap to the cars ahead of him, I should say.
If they spin, I'm winning. I'm just gonna push as hard as I can now.
So Dan will be pushing, hoping for an incident between the leaders, and I think that at one point Fabian will probably get a little bit desperate maybe and go for a move, but the gap between ERS between the top two is 50%, so it's pretty large between them. But as long as Fabian has some ERS, he should actually have a chance to make a move maybe on Tice on the final few laps. But if Tice deploys that ERS, it would be a little bit unfair, if you will, between them. But Fabian using the DRS to stay in touching distance and to save as much ERS as he can. He might as well like lift before the braking zones while he's gaining this time. He's going to go into the back of him again. This time he spins himself out, and that was a very crucial mistake there from him, and that might have just given Tice this race win. You might have to use ERS to save time now, but Fabian getting impatient, just like Brett did last race at Silverstone, just running into the back, or running into the side rather, in that instance, of Tice, and just really costing himself time. But can Dan now gain time on Fabian this race? I think that's it. But we shall see if he has the pace to catch back up again. He might. He has gained a bit of time already, but Fabian's quick, but I don't know if he's fast enough to keep up with Tice, who has a lot more ERS to use.
He has to get like 2 seconds in it. Is it 2 seconds, 2.5?
Yeah, 2.4 seconds the gap between first and second at the moment. I'd make that 2.3 now as a good corner for Fabian.
Fabian pushes as hard as he can with being a little bit careful as well. Then he can make it quite easily.
The problem here for Fabian though is the fact that he is using full traction control, and at turn 3 for example he just doesn't quite manage to get the power down as quickly as Tice does because of that. So he's going to lose time in certain corners, and especially in the straights where he just doesn't have the pace here. He has used a little bit of ERS deployment here to try and get a good exit, which did actually help him quite a bit, but at the end of the day Tice is pretty much at 100% ERS here, so it's pretty close. And you can see already losing 2/10 on the exit. I mean, that 3/10 on the exit at turn 3, a bad exit for him there, as Dan has lost a second in the last lap to Fabian, but has 30% more ERS. So if Dan does see appropriate, he might actually have a chance here to just close in a little bit on the race leader.
In like 4 laps.
We shall see.
Fabian, who is pulling away.
Tice it is then, who leads the way with Fabian in second place. He has gained time, but it doesn't matter because Tice has the ERS advantage, and there's not enough time, I don't think, for him to catch up anyways, but we'll see how that goes. As long as Tice makes no mistakes, he should be fine in this race, just to keep ahead. And if he can just coast around, he'll save ERS in the meantime, and he doesn't really need to. But you know, if he really wanted to, he could go for fastest lap at the end here by using all of his deployment, and I think he could genuinely gain at least a purple middle sector or first sector. And with the lack of fuel in his car, he will be very light, so we'll see how that goes. Fabian's using all of the ERS he can just to gain a little bit of time on the cars ahead. He has gained some time once again on Dan this lap using his ERS, so we'll see how this goes. Dan might actually be, at this point, just better off using some of his ERS that he's been saving. Maybe just to gain time on Fabian just a little bit, staying touching distance, just in case something happens, because we've seen, for example, turn 8, the exit curb, has been incredibly treacherous today. Has been catching out drivers left, right and centre. So
spins in turn 8 and then Fabian drives into him.
That is possible, and there's potential that could happen.
That's
and
never gonna happen. Like,
you never know. I mean, Tice has just been so smooth. What is it? And Tice, yeah, will be gaining on Brett's AI car.
held up by him, probably.
And look at that. Fabian has gained 3/10 in the last sector. He's so much faster in the corners than Tice is, but in the straights, Tice literally gains about, I would say around about, I mean, half a second of time just in the straights alone. So Fabian running some good lap times here, though, only half a second from his best lap. So he is definitely driving a pretty good race here. But as you can see, on board with Tice now is closing in on Brett's AI car. Going into turn 3. Half a second down on his best lap. 1.6 seconds the gap between the top two, but actually this is going to help Tice with the DRS. It's going to gain time on Brett's AI car. If anything, you're rather just staying behind him. He hits the back of him, he can't get past. And there he goes, that's lost him a lot of time now on the exit of the corner. See, know what you mean to me. Oh my goodness, tight. Fabian there, went on the grass trying to get past the lap car of Brett there. That was a very strange moment. He lost about 0.3 of a second to Tice there doing that. But that was very close to spinning out there. And with the final lap of the race now beginning, it looks like Tice has this race in the bag now. Will he use his ERS to blow it? Of course he will, it's Tice. He's going to try and get the fastest lap going into turn 1. Using all of the curve. That will cost him some time on the exit, but watch this lap still. Let's watch the sector times here. Look at the fastest lap. He has to be at 1 minute 6.972. He has 0.3 down on his best first sector because of that first corner, and also running a little bit of the sausage curve on the inside. That will cost him some time as well. But yes, it looks like Tice has this race won here. Understand. He's 0.4 down his best time. He doesn't have the tyre grip to do anything with this lap. He's already used all his deployment available, so he needs a really good last 2 corners to maybe attempt to get the fastest lap of the race here. Nice downshift to get in the power very smoothly, and coming out the final corner, it will be Tice that wins another race in a succession here. Tice wins the Austrian Grand Prix in dominant fashion here, with Fabian in second place, spinning across the line to take second. And it is Dan that will get third place. Another podium for him, and a huge crash on the line as Brett's AI car crosses the line now, and 4 stops for him in this race. 4 stops as well for Ian, who will now be coming around to finish his lap and his race. That was a very interesting race all throughout. But once again, it is a Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull podium. This time, instead of Brett, it is Fabian that got second place. So an interesting race to say the least. But Ian's on a pretty good lap here actually. Only 600s down his best time. Got over 1 minute 8.8. So we'll see how he does here. And a big crash on the line. And that is it. That is the Austrian Grand Prix. Yeah.